So, welcome back to part 51 of What Religion Is. So, we were on page 49, continuing that they received at another time the remnant of the Persians when they were almost annihilated, and they remain to this day as a part of us and loved by us as the modern Persians of Mohammed. There were Christians who claimed to have come with Saint Thomas, the disciples of Jesus Christ, and they were allowed to settle in India, hold their own opinions, and colony of them in, even now in existence in India. And this spirit of toleration has not died out. It will not and cannot die there. This is the one of the great lessons that Vedanta has to teach. Knowing that consciously or unconsciously we are struggling to reach the same goal, why should we impatient? If one man is slower than another, we need not be impatient. We need not curse him or revile him. When our eyes are open and the heart is purified, the work of the same divine influence, the unfolding of the same divinity in every human heart will become manifest, and then alone we shall be in the position to claim the brotherhood of man. When a man has reached the heights, when he sees neither man nor woman, neither sex nor grade, nor color, nor birth, not any of this a differentiation, but goes beyond and finds that divinity which is the real man behind every human being, then alone he has reached the universal brotherhood, and that man alone is a Vedantist. Section 2. This Maya is everywhere. It is terrible. Yet we have to work through it. The way is not with Maya, but against it. Almost all of you heard of the word Maya. We were discussing. Generally, it is used through incorrectly to denote illusions or delusions or some such thing. But the theory of Maya forms one of the pillars upon which Vedanta roots rests. It is therefore necessary that it should be properly understood. We find that our whole life is a consideration and contradiction, a mixture of existence and non existence. There is this contradiction in knowledge. It seems that man can know everything if he only wants to know. But before he has gone a few steps, he finds an adamantine wall which we cannot pass. All his work is in circle, and he cannot go beyond that circle. The problems which are nearest and dearest to him are impelling him on and calling day and night for a solution, but he cannot solve them because he cannot go beyond his intellect, and yet that desire is implanted strongly in him. Every child is born optimist. He dreams golden dreams. In youth, he becomes still more optimistic. It is hard for a young man to believe that there is such a thing as death, such a thing as defeat or degradation. Old age comes and life is a mass of ruins. Dreams have vanished into the air, and the man becomes a pessimist. Thus, we go from one extreme to another, buffered by nature without knowing where we are going. Then there is the tremendous fact of death. The whole world is going towards death. Everything dies, all our progress, our vanities, our reforms, our luxurious, our wealth, our knowledge, at that one end, death. That is all that is certain. Cities come and go, empires rise and fall, planets break into pieces and crumble into dust, to be blown about by the atmospheres of other planets. That it has been going on from time without beginning. Death is the end of everything. Death is end of life, of beauty, of wealth, of power, of virtue, too. Saints die and sinners die. Kings die and beggars die. They are all going to death. They are all going to die. And yet, this tremendous clinging to life exists. Somehow we do not know why we cling to life. We cannot give it up, and this is Maya. The mother is nursing a child with great care. All her soul, her life is in that child. The child grows, becomes a man, and perchance becomes a blackguard and a brute. Perchance becomes a blackguard and a brute. Kicks her and beats her every day, and yet the mother clings to the child, and when her reason awake, she covers it up with the idea of love. She little thinks that it is not love, that is, it is something which he got hold of her nerves, which she cannot shake off. However, she may try, she cannot shake off the bondage she is in, and this is Maya. We are all after the golden fleece. Every one of us thinks that this will be his. Every reasonable man sees that his chance is perhaps 1 in 20 millions, yet everyone struggles for it, and this is Maya. Death is stalking day and night over this earth of ours. But at the same time, we think we shall live eternally. A question was once asked of King Yudhishthira: what is the most wonderful thing on earth? And the king replied, every day people are dying around us, and yet men think they will never die, and this is Maya. These tremendous contradictions in our intellect, in our knowledge, in all the facts of our life, face us on all sides. A reformer arises and wants to remedy the evils existing in certain nations, and before they have been remedied, 1,000 other evils arise in another places. It is like an old house that is falling. You patch, uh, patch it, patch it up in one place, and the ruin extends to another. It is like a chronic romanticism. You drive it from a head, and it goes to the body. You drive it from there, and it goes to the feet. Reforms arise and preach that learning, wealth, and reformers, wealth and culture should one be in the hand of a select few, and they do their best to make them accessible to all. This may bring more happiness to some, perhaps as culture comes, physical happiness lessens the knowledge of happiness, brings the knowledge of unhappiness also. Which way then shall we go? The least amount of material prosperity that we enjoy is elsewhere causing the same amount of misery. This is the law and this is the Maya. Happiness brings itself misery. Maya is a statement of the fact of this universe, of how it is going on. People generally get frightened when these things are told to them. But bold we must be. Hiding facts is not the way to find a remedy. As you know, a hare hunted by dog puts its head down and thinks itself safe. When we take refuge in optimism, we do just like that hare. But that is not remedy. That is not a solution. There are objections against this, but you may remark that they are generally from people who possesses many of the good things of his life. In this country, it is very difficult to become a pessimistic. Everyone tells me how wonderfully the world is going on, how progressively. But what he himself is his own world. All old questions arises. Christianity must be the only true religion of the world because nations are prosperous. But that assertion contradicts itself because the prosperity of Christian nations depends on the misfortune of non-Christians, non-Christian nations. Depends on the misfortune of non-Christian nations. There must be some to pray on. Suppose the whole world were to become Christian, then the Christian nations would become poor because there would be on all Christians, there would be no non-Christians nations for them to prey upon. Thus the argument kills itself. Animals are living upon plants, man upon animals, and worst of all, upon one another. Man lives upon one another. The strong upon the weak, the strong upon the weak. This is going on everywhere, and this is Maya. What solution do you find for this? We hear every day many explanations and are told that in the long run all will be good, taking it for granted that this is possible. Why should there be this diabolical way of doing good? Why cannot good be done through good instead of through these diabolical methods? The descendants of the human being of today will be happy, but why must there be all this suffering now? There is no solution. This is Maya. Again, we often hear that it is one of the features of evolution that it eliminates evil, and this evil being continually eliminated from the world at last, only good will remain. That is very nice to hear, and it panders to the vanity of those who have enough of this world's goods, who have to hard, you know, who have no hard struggle